The billionaire's blind son sat silently in the mansion while servants avoided him, until a humble maid noticed something everyone else ignored. When she spoke his name out loud, the boy reacted and the room froze as everyone realized what that meant. Subscribe to the channel, leave your like, and comment where in the world you're watching from, because now I'm going to tell you everything. The big house was always quiet. Too quiet. Chloe Miller pushed her cleaning cart down the main hall, the wheels squeaking on the shiny marble floor. The sound felt too loud, like it might break something. In the great room, a little boy sat in a large chair by the window. Ethan Harrington. He was 7 years old. Everyone said he was blind. He did not move. His hands were folded in his lap. His eyes, a bright blue, looked at nothing. Another maid, Susan, was dusting nearby. She spoke in a whisper, even though they were far from the boy. Poor little thing. Can't see a single beautiful thing in this whole big house. It just breaks your heart. Chloe looked at the boy. She had only worked here for 2 weeks. She needed the money for college classes next year. The house was cold and the work was lonely. But seeing the boy sitting there every day made her feel the worst. "Does he ever play?" Chloe asked quietly. Susan shook her head. "No, he just sits. Sometimes his father reads to him, but the boy never reacts. He lives in the dark. It's very sad." Chloe kept looking. She polished the same table leg 3 times. Something was poking at her mind. She remembered yesterday in the kitchen. A pot had fallen with a huge crash. At that exact moment, she had been walking past the great room. She saw Ethan's whole body jump in his chair. His head had turned toward the kitchen door. A blind boy would jump at a loud noise. But would he know exactly where it came from? Later that afternoon, Chloe was cleaning in the library. Mr. Harrington was in his office down the hall. Ethan was in his usual chair in the corner of the library. Chloe moved quietly, wiping down the endless shelves of books. She needed to reach a high shelf. Her cloth brushed against a big, heavy book. It tipped, then fell. It hit the floor with a solid asterisk thump asterisk. Chloe gasped. "Oh no!" From the corner of her eye, she saw it. Ethan flinched. His head turned, not a general turn toward noise, a precise turn. His face was pointed right at the book on the floor. Her heart beat fast. She stood very still, watching him. For a full 10 seconds, Ethan looked at the fallen book. Then, as if he remembered himself, he slowly turned his head back to the window. His face went blank again. Chloe's hands felt cold. She picked up the book and put it back. She tried to breathe normally. She looked at the boy. He was so still, too still. She finished in the library and walked out into the hall. She almost bumped into Martha, the cook, who was carrying a tray back to the kitchen. "You look like you've seen a ghost, child," Martha said, her voice warm but tired. The words spilled out of Chloe in a low rush. "Martha, did you see that? The book fell." He looked right at it. Martha's kind eyes met hers. Then they darted down the hall and back. She did not look surprised. She looked afraid. She leaned closer. "What you think you saw? You didn't see it. This is not a house for noticing things." "But he asterisk looked asterisk," Chloe whispered. Martha's face became firm. "Listen to me. You need this job. I need this job. That boy, he needs peace. Do not stir up the water. You will only make waves that drown everybody." She gave Chloe's arm a quick squeeze and walked away, her shoes making no sound on the floor. Chloe stood in the hall, confused and scared. Martha knew something. She was warning her. For the rest of the day, Chloe watched. She saw Ethan at lunch. His father, Arthur Harrington, fed him soup. The man's face was a mask of gentle sadness. He talked softly to his son about nothing. Ethan opened his mouth when the spoon came, but his eyes were empty. Then, Mr. Harrington's phone rang in his pocket. The man reached for it. At the same moment, Ethan's head moved a tiny bit toward the sound. It was a small, fast movement. Mr. Harrington did not see it. He was looking at his phone. But Chloe saw it. A terrible, wonderful idea was forming in her mind. It was impossible. It was crazy. But what if the biggest secret in this quiet, cold house was not that a little boy was blind? What if the secret was that he could see? The big thought would not leave Chloe's mind. For 2 more days, she moved through the mansion like a ghost herself, but her eyes were always on Ethan. She saw the small things. The way his head tilted a fraction when a bird landed on the windowsill. the slight tension in his shoulders when his father's specific heavy footsteps came down the hall. It was raining on the third day. A cold gray rain tapped against the windows. Chloe was in the library again, polishing the same large table. Ethan sat in his chair. Arthur Harrington stood by the fireplace, looking at his son with that same sad expression he showed to the world. The quiet in the room felt heavy. The only sounds were the rain, the crackle of the fire, and the soft swish of Chloe's cloth. She looked at Arthur's sad face. Then she looked at Ethan's empty one. Martha's warning echoed in her head. Asterisk, you will only make waves that drown everybody. But what if the boy was already drowning? Her heart hammered against her ribs. This was a bad idea, a terrible idea. She could lose her job, but the image of Ethan, so alone and living a lie, was worse. She stopped polishing. She put the cloth down. Her hands were shaking. Arthur did not notice. He was staring into the fire. Chloe took a quiet breath. She walked across the large rug. She stopped in front of Ethan's chair. She knelt down so her face was level with his. She spoke his name, clear and firm. Ethan. For a second, nothing happened. He was still a statue. Then he moved. He turned his head toward her voice. His bright blue eyes, which always seemed to look through everything, shifted. They focused. They found her own eyes and locked onto them. He was looking right at her. He was asterisk seeing asterisk her. The air in the room vanished. Chloe heard a sharp breath from the fireplace. Arthur Harrington had turned around. He had seen it. Time stopped. Chloe was still kneeling, looking into the eyes of a little boy who was not blind. Ethan's face was filled with a sudden, pure terror. He looked from Chloe to his father and back again. Arthur Harrington's face changed. The sad, gentle mask melted away. First, it was shock. His skin turned white. Then, a cold, hard anger took over. It happened in 3 seconds. "What have you done?" Arthur's voice was not loud. It was low and dangerous, like ice. "He can see," Chloe said, her own voice a whisper. She stood up, putting herself slightly between Ethan and his father. "You stupid girl," Arthur hissed. He strode across the room. He did not look at his son. His pale gray eyes were fixed on Chloe. "What did you do to him?" "I didn't do anything. He just looked at me. He's always been able to see, hasn't he?" Arthur's hand shot out and grabbed her arm tightly. "You are fired. You do not speak. You do not think. You are nothing." He turned his head toward the door and raised his voice. "Jeffries, Collins, get in here now." 2 large men in suits appeared at the library door. They were always nearby. "Take this woman to the blue guest room on the 3rd floor," Arthur commanded. His voice was calm again, but it was the calm of a winter storm. "Lock the door. Do not let her out. Do not speak to her." "No, wait!" Chloe struggled, but the guard's grip was like iron. Arthur finally looked at Ethan. The boy was shaking, his small hands gripping the arms of the chair. "It's all right, son," Arthur said, but his voice was not all right. It was flat and cold. "This woman is confused. She is sick. She will not bother you again." "You're lying," Chloe shouted as the guards pulled her toward the door. "He knows you're lying. Ethan, it's okay." "Be quiet," Arthur snapped. As they dragged her out, Chloe saw one last thing. Ethan's eyes, wide with fear, followed her all the way to the door. He watched until she was gone. The guards marched her up 2 flights of stairs. They pushed her into a beautiful room with blue walls and a big bed. One of them, Jeffries, looked at her. For a moment, she thought she saw pity in his eyes. But then it was gone. "I'm sorry, miss," he said quietly. Then he closed the door. She heard the loud click of a key turning in the lock. Chloe ran to the door and pulled the handle. It did not move. She was trapped. She leaned her forehead against the cold wood. Her mind raced. Arthur was not happy his son could see. He was furious someone had discovered it. This was not about protecting Ethan. This was about protecting a secret. And now she was locked in a room because she knew it. The quiet of the house felt different now. It was not sad anymore. It was dangerous. And a little boy was down there, all alone with his angry father. The blue room was too quiet. Chloe listened at the door for a long time. She heard nothing, no footsteps, no voices. The house had swallowed her up. She walked to the window. It was locked tight. She looked down. It was a long drop to the garden below. Too far. "Think, Chloe, think," she whispered to herself. Her eyes scanned the room. A bed, a desk, some paper and a pen in a drawer. An idea came, a dangerous one. She sat at the desk and wrote. Her handwriting was messy because her hands were shaking. Asterisk Martha, I am locked in the blue room on the 3rd floor. He knows Ethan can see. This is very bad. Please, if you can help. I am afraid for the boy. She folded the small paper 4 times. She walked back to the door and knelt down. The gap under the door was thin, but maybe big enough. She waited. She heard nothing. She pushed the note slowly under the door with her finger. It went through. She let out a shaky breath. Now, she had to wait. She had no idea if Martha would find it, or if Martha would even want to help. The cook had warned her to stay quiet. Hours passed. The rain stopped. The sky outside turned black. A guard, Jeffries, brought her a tray of food at 7 o'clock. He did not speak. He just placed it inside the door and locked it again. Chloe did not touch the food. Her stomach was in knots. Then, much later, she heard a new sound. A soft scratching at the door. Then the quiet turn of a key in the lock. The door opened just a crack. Martha's round, worried face peered in. She held a finger to her lips. Chloe almost cried from relief. She rushed to the door. Quickly, child, Martha whispered. She pulled Chloe into the dark hallway. It was empty. A single small light was on at the far end. How did you get the key? Chloe breathed. Mr. Jeffries leaves the key ring on a hook in the pantry when he eats his supper. I took it. I must put it back before 9 o'clock, Martha said. Her voice was tight with fear. We have little time. We have to get Ethan, Chloe said. We have to take him and go to the police. Martha shook her head. We cannot just walk out the front door. The guards are there. And the boy, his room is on the 2nd floor. Mr. Harrington's bedroom is right next to it. Then what do we do? Martha took a deep breath. We get the boy. We make him tell us the truth, all of it. Then we find a way out. There is an old servant's entrance behind the kitchen. It is never used. It leads to the side garden. Will you come with us? Martha's eyes were sad. I will get you to that door. Then you must run. Take the boy and run. Do not look back. They moved down the hallway, sticking to the shadows. Martha knew every creak in the floor. They went down a back staircase. It was narrow and dark. They reached the 2nd floor. Martha pointed to a door at the end of a hall. A nightlight glowed softly nearby. That is his room. His father's door is the one next to it. You must be a mouse. Chloe nodded. Her mouth was dry. She walked on her toes down the plush carpet. She reached Ethan's door. She slowly turned the handle. It was unlocked. She slipped inside and closed the door without a sound. The room was big and dark. A small shape was in the bed. Chloe walked over. Ethan was awake. His eyes were wide open, staring at the ceiling. When he saw her, he sat up fast. Shh, Chloe said, sitting on the edge of his bed. It's me, Chloe. You're in trouble because of me, he whispered. His voice was very small. No, I'm in trouble because of your father. Ethan, listen to me. You have to tell me the truth now. Can you see? He looked right at her. In the dim light, his blue eyes were clear and focused. Yes. The word was so simple, it changed everything. For how long? Always, he said. My mom could see. I remember her face. Why do you pretend? He pulled his knees up to his chest. After Mom went away, my dad said I had to. He said I got blind from being sad. He said if bad people knew I could see, they would hurt me. To get his money. Do you believe that? Ethan was quiet for a moment. Then he shook his head. No, I think he is the bad person. He gets angry. When I was 4, I reached for a red apple on the table. He saw me. He was very angry. He said if I ever acted like I could see again, he would send me away forever. A single tear rolled down his cheek. I was so scared, so I just stopped. Chloe's heart broke. She put a hand on his small arm. You don't have to pretend anymore. We're going to leave. Right now. Martha is helping us. Fear flashed across his face. He'll find us. Not if we're fast. Can you be brave? Ethan looked at her. He looked at the door. He nodded once, a quick, sharp movement. Good. Get your shoes. We have to go. Ethan's small fingers fumbled with his shoelaces. Chloe knelt and tied them for him, her own hands moving quickly. The house around them was a giant sleeping beast. "We have to find Martha," Chloe whispered. "Stay right behind me." She opened the bedroom door a crack. The hallway was empty and quiet. The nightlight glowed. They crept out, moving past the dark wood of Arthur Harrington's door. Ethan's eyes were wide, darting everywhere. He was seeing his own house in a new way, not as a prison, he observed, but as an escape route. They made it to the back staircase. Martha was there, her face pale in the dim light. She pulled them into a small, shadowy alcove. "We must be quick," Martha said, her voice a low hum. "The guard changes at 10 o'clock. We have maybe 20 minutes. "Ethan told me everything," Chloe said. "He's been pretending since he was little." Martha looked at the boy, her eyes full of a deep sadness. "I am so sorry, Ethan. I should have said something years ago." "Why did he make me do it?" Ethan asked. His whisper was confused, hurt. If bad people wanted his money, wouldn't they want a blind boy more? Because he's easier to steal? Chloe and Martha looked at each other. The boy's logic was painfully clear. "It was never about keeping you safe from strangers, child," Martha said gently. "It was about keeping you." "What do you mean?" Ethan asked. "Your father is a powerful man," Chloe explained, keeping her words simple. "People feel sorry for him because he has a blind son. It makes him look like a good father, and it meant you would always need him for everything. You could never be independent. He could control you forever." Ethan absorbed this. He nodded slowly. "He always said the world outside was too scary for me, that he was my only light." A sudden noise made them all freeze. It was the murmur of voices coming from the main hallway downstairs. One voice was loud and firm, Arthur Harrington's. "Tonight, I want it done tonight," he was saying. Martha held up a hand. She crept to the top of the servants' stairs, which had a small, grated overlook to the kitchen hallway below. Chloe and Ethan stayed still, holding their breath. They heard Arthur's voice again, colder than the rain outside. "The school in Switzerland has been notified. They are ready for a special needs student. He flies out tomorrow." Another man's voice, Jeffries the guard, answered. "And the maid? And the cook, sir?" A pause. "The cook's loyalty is clearly broken. The maid is a problem. They both present a significant narrative risk. Use the car. Take them to the old warehouse by the river. Make it clean. I will handle the story. A tragic kidnapping attempt that we barely stopped. The boy, traumatized, is sent abroad for his safety and treatment." Chloe's blood turned to ice. She covered her mouth. Martha stumbled back from the grate, her hand over her heart. "He is going to send you away, Ethan," Martha said, her voice trembling. "And he is going to make us disappear." Ethan's small hand found Chloe's. His grip was tight. "We run, now," Chloe said. The fear was a sharp stone in her stomach, but it made her thoughts clear. "What's the plan, Martha?" Martha took a shaky breath, pushing down her terror. "The old servants' entrance, behind the big pantry. It leads outside to the side garden. From there, you can reach the alley." "What about you?" Chloe asked. "I will make a distraction in the kitchen, something loud. When the guards run to see, you two run for that door. Do not stop. Do not look back." "But he said he'll hurt you," Ethan whispered. Martha gave him a sad, brave smile. "Helping you is the first right thing I've done in a long time. Now listen, the door is wood, painted green. The lock is old. It might be stiff. Push hard." She reached into her apron pocket. She took Chloe's hand and pressed a small, cold metal object into it. It was a key. "Take this. Do not lose it. It was your mother's, Ethan. She gave it to me for safekeeping a long time ago. She said you might need it one day." Ethan stared at the key in Chloe's palm. "What does it open?" Chloe asked. "I do not know for sure," Martha admitted. "But Eleanor was afraid of your father, Ethan. She hid things. This is one of them. It is proof. Now go. Get to the pantry and hide. Wait for my signal." "What's the signal?" Chloe asked. "You will know it," Martha said. She gave Ethan one last long look. "You have your mother's eyes. Use them." Then she turned and hurried down the stairs toward the kitchen. Chloe closed her fingers around the key. It felt heavy with importance. "Come on," she said to Ethan. They crept down the remaining stairs and slipped into the dark, crowded space of the pantry. Shelves of food towered around them. At the very back was a simple green door. They waited. The only sound was their own breathing and the drumming of the rain starting again outside. harder now. Then, it came. A tremendous shattering crash from the kitchen. It was the sound of every pot and pan hitting the stone floor at once. A man's voice shouted, "What was that?" Footsteps pounded on the hallway marble, running toward the kitchen. "Now!" Chloe hissed. She pushed the green door. It groaned, then gave way. A wall of cold, wet wind hit them. They stumbled out into the stormy night. The cold rain soaked them in seconds. Chloe pulled Ethan across the slick grass of the side garden toward a high brick wall. A small gate was there, just as Martha had said. "Hurry, hurry," Chloe whispered, her breath puffing white in the wet air. She pushed the gate open. They stumbled into a dark alley. Trash cans lined the walls. The sound of the city was louder here. Cars on a nearby street, the distant wail of a siren. Ethan stopped, pulling on her hand. He was staring at everything. The wet brick walls, the shimmer of a streetlight on the puddles, the neon sign of a diner at the end of the alley. His first real look at the world. "Ethan, we have to move," Chloe urged. "I can see it all," he said, his voice full of wonder and fear. "I know. Use those eyes. Help me. Which way do we go?" He blinked, the rain running down his face. He looked left, then right. He pointed left. "That way leads to a bigger street. I can see the car lights." They ran, their shoes splashing in the alley water. They burst onto the sidewalk of a busy Chicago street. Cars swished by. People under umbrellas hurried past, not looking at them. "We need a police station," Chloe said, turning in a circle. She didn't know this neighborhood well. Everything was confusing in the dark and rain. "There," Ethan said suddenly. He pointed down the street. "I saw a sign 3 blocks that way. It had a star and the word police." Chloe stared at him. "You saw that from here?" "I see everything," he said simply. "I always have. I just never said." A new feeling sparked in Chloe's chest. Hope. "Then you're the guide. Lead us." They started running again, Ethan's small hand clenched in hers. He weaved them down the crowded sidewalk. He saw things she missed. "Step up," he'd say before a curb. "Puddle," he'd warn, steering her around it. He suddenly pulled her into a store doorway. A black car with dark windows was moving slowly down the street. It looked like the cars from the Harrington house. "They're already looking," Chloe breathed, pressing back into the shadows. The car passed. They waited a moment, then ran again. The rain fell harder. They were both shivering. Ethan's teeth chattered. "Just a little farther," Chloe said, more to herself than to him. They turned a corner. Down the block, Chloe saw it. A blue light over a doorway. A sign. 25th Precinct. "There it is!" she cried. They ran toward the light. It was like a beacon. Safety. The truth. The end of running. Just as they reached the steps leading up to the station doors, Ethan skidded to a halt. He yanked Chloe's hand back so hard she almost fell. "Stop!" "What is it?" Ethan's eyes were fixed on the police station entrance. His face, pale and wet, was tense with focus. "That man, standing by the door under the awning. He works for my father. His name is Collins. He drives the black cars." Chloe peered through the curtain of rain. A tall man in a dark coat stood casually by the door, smoking a cigarette. He was looking up and down the street. He was not a police officer. Arthur Harrington was smart. He knew they would run to the police. He had men waiting at the closest stations. The blue light, their safe harbor, was a trap. Collins turned his head. He looked right toward their hiding spot behind a newsstand. Chloe pulled Ethan back into the darkness of an alley across the street. Her hope cracked. They were wet, cold, and hunted. The police were not an option. "What do we do now?" Ethan whispered, his brave voice finally sounding as small and scared as he was. Chloe's fingers closed around the key in her pocket. Martha's words came back to her. Asterisk, it is proof. They needed more than just their story. They needed the proof the key could unlock. "We can't go to the police yet," Chloe said, her mind racing. "We need what's in that box your mother left. We need to find what this key opens." The rain and the fear made them both shake. They huddled behind a big, smelly dumpster in the alley across from the police station. Chloe could see the man named Collins through the gap between the dumpster and the wall. He was still there, watching. "We can't stay here," Chloe whispered. Her teeth chattered. "We need to get out of the rain. We need to think." "I see a sign," Ethan said, his voice muffled against her side. He pointed a small finger further down the street. It says subway. That's underground trains. There will be many people there. He was using his eyes like a tool now, scanning for solutions instead of just hiding. Chloe nodded. Okay, people are good. We can blend in. When I say go, we run to that subway entrance. They waited for a break in the passing cars. When the street was clear, they darted from the alley, across the wet street, and down the concrete stairs into the subway station. The warm, stale air hit them like a blanket. The station was bright and noisy. People in wet coats hurried to trains. No one paid attention to a soaked woman and a small boy. Chloe led Ethan to a quiet corner away from the main crowd. They sat on a bench, water pooling around their feet. For a moment, they just breathed. Chloe took the key from her pocket. It was small and silver. She held it in her palm so Ethan could see it. Martha said this was your mother's. She said it was proof. A key opens something, Ethan. A lockbox, a diary, something she left for you. Do you know what it opens? Ethan stared at the key. He frowned, thinking very hard. My mom had a jewelry box. It was wooden. It had a music box inside. But that key is too small for that. He closed his eyes, trying to remember. She took me to a big building once, with big stone columns. It was quiet inside. She held my hand. She said it was a safe place for important things. A bank? Chloe asked gently. Did it look like a bank? Ethan's eyes flew open. Yes, the letters on the window were gold. They said First Chicago Trust. I remember because I asked her what trust meant. She said it meant a promise you keep. Chloe's heart leapt. First Chicago Trust Bank. That's it. That's where the key goes, to a safe deposit box. She looked at the key with new urgency. Whatever is in that box, your mother put it there to help you. It's proof against your father. A train roared into the station, shaking the platform. When the noise faded, Ethan spoke again, his voice small. The bank is far from here. I saw it from my window sometimes. It's near the lake, the big buildings. Do you think you could find it? If we got above ground? Ethan nodded slowly. I think so. I am good with directions. I know how many steps it takes to get from my room to the front door. I know the shapes of buildings. Chloe believed him. He had memorized the world he was never supposed to see. Okay, but we can't just walk there in the open. Those men are looking for us, and we have no money for a bus or a taxi. She thought for a minute. The subway map was on the wall across from them. She walked over, Ethan sticking close to her side. She traced the lines with her finger. They were on the red line. The bank was in the loop, downtown. They could take the train part of the way, but they would have to walk the last part. We can ride the train, she said. We just have to get on without paying. It's wrong, but it's an emergency. We stay close to big groups of people. We keep our heads down. What if the men are down here too? Ethan asked, looking nervously at every passing stranger in a suit. Then you use your eyes, Chloe said, putting a hand on his shoulder. You watch for them. You're better at it than anyone. A downtown train was arriving. The doors opened with a hiss. A crowd of people got off and on. Ready? Chloe asked. Ethan took a deep breath, his bright eyes scanning the platform one more time. Ready. They stepped onto the train, disappearing into the crowd just as the doors closed. The train car was crowded and warm. Chloe and Ethan stood near the doors, surrounded by strangers. Ethan pressed close to Chloe, his eyes moving constantly. He watched every person who got on, every reflection in the window. After several stops, the crowd thinned. They found 2 empty seats and sat down. For the first time since running, they were sitting still. The adrenaline began to fade. Chloe felt how tired her legs were. She saw Ethan shivering in his wet clothes. We need to get off soon, Chloe said softly. The next stop is downtown. Then we walk. Ethan nodded. He was looking at his own hands. I'm hungry, he whispered. I know, me too. Chloe had nothing. No purse, no money. We'll figure it out after the bank. The train slowed for the downtown station. This is us, Chloe said. They stood up and got off with a group of office workers. This station was bigger and busier. They followed the signs to the street exit. When they climbed the stairs, they were in the heart of Chicago. Tall buildings rose all around them. The rain had slowed to a cold drizzle. The streets were full of cars and people. It was overwhelming. Ethan gripped Chloe's hand tightly, his head swiveling to look at everything. The traffic lights, the giant signs, the buses. Which way, Ethan? Chloe asked. Do you recognize anything? Ethan turned in a slow circle. He pointed east. The lake is that way. The bank is between here and the lake. I saw it from my window. It has a big clock on the corner. Okay, lead the way. They started walking. Ethan's steps were slow at first, then more confident. He would pause at each corner, looking at street signs. This is Madison Street. We need to go east on Madison, he said. How do you know that? Chloe asked, amazed. I read the signs, he said simply. From my window, I could see street signs with my father's telescope. I memorized them. After walking for 10 blocks, Chloe's stomach growled loudly. Ethan's steps were getting slower. They passed a small park. Chloe pulled him toward an empty bench hidden behind some bushes. We need to rest for a minute, she said. They sat. Chloe took the key out again. She held it between them. Tell me more about your mom, Ethan. Anything you remember about the bank? Ethan stared at the key. She was happy there. She smiled. She talked to a man in a suit behind a big desk. He gave her this key, I think. Then she took me for ice cream. He looked up at Chloe. She said the box was for a rainy day. She said it was our secret. Chloe looked at the gloomy sky. It's definitely a rainy day. She was afraid of my father, Ethan said, his voice even quieter. I didn't understand then, but I remember her face sometimes. It was not a happy face when he was in the room. She left the proof for you, Ethan. She knew this might happen. Chloe put the key safely back in her pocket. We just have to get to it. A police car drove slowly down the street next to the park. Ethan tensed. Chloe put an arm around him. The car did not stop. We can't trust the police yet, Chloe said. Not until we have what's in that box. Then they'll have to believe us. Ethan nodded. He took a deep breath and stood up. I can keep going. The bank is not far now. Maybe 10 more blocks. You're counting blocks in your head, aren't you? Chloe asked, standing up too. Yes, he said. It's what I do. They left the park and walked back onto the busy sidewalk. Ethan led the way, his small shoulders set with determination. For the first time, he was not just seeing the world. He was navigating it. He was leading them to the truth. There it is, Ethan said, pointing. The First Chicago Trust Bank was a grand old building of stone and glass, taking up a whole city block. A large clock stood on the corner, just as Ethan remembered. People in nice coats walked in and out of the tall brass doors. Chloe felt a surge of hope. Okay, we just walk in like we belong. They pushed through the heavy door. Inside it was quiet and warm. The floor was shiny marble. There were desks and teller windows. Chloe felt underdressed in her wet maid's clothes. Ethan's shoes squeaked on the floor. A woman in a blue suit sat at a desk near the front. She looked up and smiled. Can I help you? Chloe walked over, trying to sound calm. Yes, please. We need to access a safe deposit box. Do you have your key and your identification? The woman asked, her smile still polite. Chloe's heart sank. She placed the small silver key on the desk. We have the key. We don't have any identification with us. It was lost. The woman's smile became sorry. I'm afraid we need photo ID to access a box. It's the rule, for security. Is the box in your name? No, Chloe said. Her mind raced. It's in the name of Eleanor Harrington. The woman's expression changed. She recognized the name. She looked from Chloe to the small, wet boy beside her. Her eyes widened just a little. One moment, please. She picked up her phone and spoke softly into it. Ethan tugged on Chloe's sleeve. She knows my mom's name, he whispered. A man in a darker suit came over. He was older, with gray hair. His name tag said Mr. Reynolds, manager. He looked at them with careful eyes. You are here for the Harrington box? He asked. Yes, Chloe said. She put a hand on Ethan's shoulder. This is Ethan Harrington, Eleanor's son. His mother left something for him. We need to see it. Mr. Reynolds studied Ethan's face. He looked at the boy's bright, intelligent eyes. The story of the blind Harrington heir was famous in certain circles. This boy was clearly not blind. Young man, Mr. Reynolds said, his voice gentle. What is your mother's full name? Eleanor Marie Harrington, Ethan said without hesitation. She had brown hair. She wore a perfume that smelled like roses. She brought me here once. We got ice cream after. Mr. Reynolds was silent for a long moment. He nodded slowly. I remember your mother. She was a kind woman. She set up this box a long time ago. He looked at Chloe. The box is in the names of Eleanor Harrington and Arthur Harrington. Either party can access it. But without Mr. Harrington present and without your ID, this is highly unusual. Please, Chloe said, her voice breaking with tiredness and fear. This is life or death. Arthur Harrington is trying to send Ethan away. He's trying to hide him. What's in that box might be the only thing that can save him. Mr. Reynolds looked around the quiet bank. He looked at Ethan's pleading face. He made a decision. Come with me, he said. He led them past the main floor, through a secure door, and into a hallway with many small doors made of metal. It was the vault room. He stopped in front of a large wall of safe deposit boxes. He took Chloe's key and matched it to a number. He used his own master key, then their key, and pulled out a long metal box. You can use private room 3, he said, handing the heavy box to Chloe. He pointed to a small door with the number 3 on it. Take your time. Chloe carried the box. Ethan followed her into the small, plain room. Mr. Reynolds closed the door behind them, leaving them alone. The box sat on the table between them. It held the truth. The metal box sat on the table between them. It was quiet in the small room. Chloe looked at Ethan. His eyes were fixed on the box. Are you ready? Chloe asked. Ethan nodded. He reached out one small hand and touched the cold metal lid. Chloe lifted the lid. Inside there was no jewelry, no money, just a single white envelope. It looked old. Chloe picked it up. It was not sealed. She opened the flap and pulled out a few sheets of paper. The top page was a letter. The handwriting was elegant and flowing. It's from your mother, Chloe whispered. Ethan moved closer. Can you read it? Chloe began to read out loud, her voice soft in the quiet room. My dearest Ethan, if you are reading this, then you are old enough and you are in trouble. I am so sorry I am not there with you. I love you more than anything in this world. I am writing this because I am afraid. I am afraid of your father. He is not the man I once thought he was. He cares more about control than love. He sees you not as my beautiful boy, but as a thing he owns. I worry about what he will do when I am gone. He talks about shaping your life, about making sure you are manageable. I don't know what that means, but it frightens me. So I am leaving you this truth. You are a perfect, healthy, bright-eyed boy. You always have been. Never let anyone tell you otherwise. The paper behind this letter is proof from Dr. Evans. It shows your eyes are perfect. Keep this safe. Use it if you ever need to be free. Remember, my love for you is real. It is in every word on this page. Be brave. All my love, forever, Mom. Tears filled Chloe's eyes. She looked at Ethan. Silent tears were running down his cheeks too. He reached out and traced the handwriting with his finger. She knew, he said. His voice was thick. She tried to help me. She did, Chloe said, blinking back her own tears. She put the letter down carefully. Behind it was another paper. This one was typed. It had a doctor's name and logo at the top, Dr. Samuel Evans, Pediatric Ophthalmology. The title read, Final Eye Exam Report for Ethan James Harrington, age 2 years. Chloe scanned it. The medical words were complicated, but the conclusion was simple. She read the last line out loud. Asterisk patient presents with 100% normal visual acuity for his age. Eyes are healthy with no signs of disease or trauma. Prognosis is excellent for continued normal vision. She looked up at Ethan. It says you could see perfectly. It says your eyes were healthy. Ethan took the doctor's report. He stared at it, even though he couldn't read all the words. He was holding the end of his father's lie in his hands. We have it, Chloe said. A feeling of fierce strength washed over her. We have the proof. Now we can go to the police. Now they have to listen. She carefully placed both papers back into the envelope. She put the envelope inside her jacket, zipping it up to keep it safe and dry. It was the most important thing in the world. Let's go, she said. They left the small room. Mr. Reynolds was waiting in the hall. He saw the look on their faces. You found what you needed? Yes, Chloe said. Thank you. You have no idea what this means. He nodded. I hope it brings you peace. Let me show you out. He led them back through the bank to the main doors. Chloe took Ethan's hand. They stepped out onto the busy sidewalk, the envelope secure inside her jacket. The proof was real. They could finally breathe. Chloe looked down the street, searching for a police car or a station. Then Ethan froze. His hand tightened on hers like a vice. "Chloe," he whispered, his voice full of terror. She followed his gaze. Parked across the street, right next to a fire hydrant, was a long black car. The window was rolled down. The man inside was looking right at them. It was Jeffries, the guard from the mansion. He was already talking into a phone. He had found them. The black car door swung open. Jeffries stepped out. "Run!" Chloe yelled. She grabbed Ethan's hand and they sprinted down the sidewalk. People jumped out of their way. She heard the car door slam and an engine roar behind them. "Where?" Ethan cried, his short legs pumping. "Just run." Chloe looked over her shoulder. The car was pulling into the street, trying to cut them off. Ethan's eyes darted ahead. He pointed across the street. "There, a police car. It's turning." Chloe saw it. A blue and white police cruiser was turning onto their street 2 blocks away. It was their only chance. To the police car. "Go, go, go." They dashed into the street between 2 parked cars. A taxi honked loudly. They reached the other side and kept running toward the cruiser. The black car sped up the street after them. "Help!" Chloe screamed, waving her arms wildly at the police car. "Please help us!" The police cruiser slowed. The officer inside saw them running. He saw the black car speeding close behind them. He turned on his flashing lights and pulled to the curb. Chloe and Ethan reached the cruiser just as the officer got out. He was a big man with a kind, confused face. "Whoa, slow down. What's the trouble?" he asked. The black car screeched to a stop 30 feet away. Jeffrey sat behind the wheel, watching. "He's trying to take us," Chloe gasped, pointing at the black car. "He works for Arthur Harrington. He wants to take this boy." The officer looked at the idling black car, then at Ethan's terrified face. He put a hand on his radio. "Dispatch, I need backup at the corner of Madison and Dearborn. Possible attempted custody issue." More police cars arrived within minutes. Officers surrounded the black car. They asked Jeffries to step out. He showed them identification, but his story sounded weak. He said he was a family employee sent to find a runaway maid and a confused child. "We are not confused," Chloe said, her voice strong now. She unzipped her jacket and carefully pulled out the white envelope. She handed it to the first officer. "This is proof. Proof that Ethan Harrington has been forced to pretend he is blind by his father. Proof that his father is a liar and a dangerous man. His mother left this for him. Read it." The officers looked at the old letter and the doctor's report. Their expressions changed from doubt to serious concern. "We need to take everyone to the station," the lead officer said. "We need to hear the whole story." At the police station, Chloe told them everything. Ethan told them everything in his small, clear voice. He described pretending. He described his father's anger. He described Martha's help. The letter from Eleanor and the medical report were placed into evidence. Police cars were sent to the Harrington mansion. They found Arthur Harrington in his study. He was arrested. They found Martha Higgins in the kitchen. She was safe, but scared. She confirmed the whole story. The next day, the truth was everywhere. On the news, in the papers. Billionaire's son not blind. A prisoner in his own home. Harrington arrested for fraud and conspiracy. Chloe and Ethan sat in a sunny room at a social services office. A kind woman talked to them. "Ethan, your father will not be able to hurt you anymore. The courts will make sure of that. For now, we need to find you a safe place to stay." Ethan looked at Chloe. He reached for her hand. "Can I stay with her?" he asked the woman. Chloe held his hand tightly. "I want him to stay with me, if that's allowed. I'll take care of him." The woman smiled. "We will have to do some paperwork, but given the circumstances, I think we can make that happen." Later, they walked out of the building together. The sun was shining. Ethan stopped and looked up at the blue sky, at the clouds, at the trees lining the street. He saw it all, and he didn't have to pretend. "It's so big," he whispered. "It is," Chloe said. "And you can see all of it, whenever you want." He looked at her and smiled a real, true smile. "What do we do now?" "Now," Chloe said, smiling back, "we go get some ice cream." They walked down the street, hand in hand, into the bright, seeing world.